have a thinking intellect, a believing mind, and a feeling heart. With intellect we know, with mind we bind ourselves with things and people, and with heart we feel the rhythm, beauty, and love of the existence. Life of a person is handicapped if any of these factors is ignored or given less importance to. A life can be called complete only when all these three aspects are fulfilled. Only such a life is a blessing to oneself and to others. Whenever any of these three principles became dominant, ignoring the other two, history saw a man-made calamity. Many wars are waged to satisfy the greed of the intellect, to spread a belief of a mind, and many so-called soft states had to undergo severe loss when people gave too much of importance to their heart and ignored the practicality of the situation. Reason devoid of emotion and feeling causes increased insecurity, greed, and restlessness, and then destroys the family life and ignores the social responsibility. This in turn increases the stress levels, resulting in physical and psychological disorders. On the other hand, emotion devoid of reason causes dogmatism, throwing lives into the darkness of ignorance and blind belief, and also causes other social illnesses like religious invasion and even terrorism. Only the proper balance among mind, heart, and intellect keep a person sensitive and sensible. One of the main reasons behind the Indian culture being the only continual culture in the world for thousands of years sustaining severe blows is its comprehensiveness, its penetration into all the aspects of social, domestic, and individual life. Satyam, Shivam, and Sundaram form the three ideals of life here. The ideal of knowing intellect is truth, Satyam. The ideal of the believing mind is God, Shivam. The generating, organizing, and destroying principle of the universe. And the ideal of the feeling heart is Sundaram, beauty, art, love, sacrifice, and all such principles those make us one with the nature. Any of these three ideals do not totally exclude the other two. One who attained Satyam, the ultimate truth, will also be a great devotee of Shivam, and one's heart will be one with the universe, making Loka Kalyana, welfare of the universe, the sole purpose of one's existence. That is why, unlike in the West, here in India, rising of scientific spirit at the cost of faith is not considered as renaissance. Here, science and spirit go together, thereby yielding only constructive results, not harmful to the world as a whole. Hence, Satyam is Shivam, which again is Sundaram. When these three ideals of human life come together to take a form to bless the universe, the resulting auspicious appearance is Lord Dattatreya. Everybody, be a realist, a spiritualist, a devotee, a sage, an ascetic, a household, from a sacrificing yogi to a selfish bhogi, is knowingly or unknowingly led by and led towards this universal principle called Dattatreya. Datta means that which is already bestowed. It is already there. There is nothing that is non-existent. No thing or being is without Datta, and there is nothing beyond Datta. He is the very existence of everything. Atreya means son of Atri or the concept of Atri. Atri literally means not three, that which is beyond the trio of knower, known, and the act of knowing. Dattatreya is beyond knowledge. He is also beyond the three gunas, the qualities of sattva, brilliance, rajas, activity, and tamas, inertia, with different permutations and combinations of which forms the entire universe. Dattatreya is also beyond space, time, and causation. The three factors everyone and everything here is bound by. Simply speaking, Datta means who only is, and Atreya means who is beyond what is, or who is not, whose glory is sung by Bhagavad Gita as Nasattanna Saduchyate. That can neither be called as it is or as it is not. That is the reason behind many not considering Lord Dattatreya as a mere avatara, an incarnation. Every incarnation happened here with a specific purpose, after attaining which it disappeared and afterwards appeared in that specific form only to ardent devotees seeking that particular form. But Dattatreya is not confined to any such definite form. Records of devotees' experiences show that his appearances in the world covered a wide range, starting from an indulgent fool to a great ascetic or seer. Each Purana described his form in a different way. That is why it is reasonable to say that Dattatreya is not just an avatara. Instead, Dattatreya took many avataras. He gave his own self to all human beings for achieving their divine goal. During the turbulent times when man, under the influence of Kali, forgot eternal dharma and fell prey to the six vices, hatred and envy, and headed towards the final destruction, Dattatreya, having mercy on us, descended on the earth as the Adi Guru. But on recognizing the fact that an effort of centuries is required to reform and mend the ways of deteriorated race who have fallen from their duties, dharmas, and divinity for several millennia, Dattatreya, according to a divine plan, started his mission through many avadhutas, saints, and yogis in 1,000 ways. If Dattatreya is a banyan tree, all the great men are its branches and props. Like a firm and strong prop root, resembling almost like the main tree, some seers ameliorate the miseries of devotees, leading them to the ultimate goal. They are worshipped as Dattavataras, or incarnations of Datta. Let us remember the famous 9 of such incarnations, namely Sripada Sri Vallabha, Sri Nrsimha Saraswati, Sri Manikya Prabhu, Swami Samartha of Akkalkot, Sri Sai Baba of Shirdi, Sri Vasudevananda Saraswati, Sri Gajanan Maharaj, Sri Hazrat Tajuddin Baba, and Siddheshwar Sant Sri Gulab Baba. The world is filled with Datta. There is no place in the universe which is not pervaded by the great power. Every living being is manifest with the threefold qualities, three gunas, which is its nature. That is why there is every possibility for each living being to get a favorable response through the worship of Lord Datta, who himself is manifestation of the threefold qualities of nature. The Parayana, reading of the stories of these incarnations and contemplation on them, creates a resonance with the vibration of Datta. Lord Datta floods us with the turbulent flow of Guru Shakti, making the various Dattavataras as the channels for propagation of Dharma. Only one essential nature of Datta is emanated through many a Dattavatara. In the endless story of Datta, the various Dattavatara correspond to different chapters. Keeping this in view, if one chants their name constantly, it leads to unbroken meditation and one becomes identical with object of one's meditation. Then Lord Datta bestows the divine vision of beholding unity in multiplicity, the wisdom of non-duality, and finally the perfection of yoga or yoga siddhi. When the evil deeds, papa karma, diminish and the virtuous deeds begin to bear fruits, then only the devotion towards the ultimate Lord, the Datta, buds in the human heart. We can then consider ourselves fortunate to have had an opportunity to know about Datta and his various avatars. The very name of Dattatreya brings to mind the picture of a slender, saintly figure in our mind with 3 faces, 6 arms, a celestial cow, Kamadhenu, with 4 dogs sitting in front of him. Lord Dattatreya, the Supreme Teacher, was the apparent form of the Supreme Consciousness, born to impart self-knowledge or Atma-jnana. The 3 faces are of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, the wisdom primeval to the 3 lords being his body. The 6 arms are the 6 Shastras. The 4 dogs symbolize the 4 Vedas, which ward away all evil forces. Dharma or righteousness is the cow or Kamadhenu. The universal peace is Audumbara. This is the second of the Shodasha avatars of Datta. It was in this form that he appeared to Atri, delighted with his tapas as Atri Varada. The Chandilyopanishad speaks of other forms of Dattatreya, like the one with a single face, Ekamukha, and 4 arms. The Dhyana shlokas refer to him as having 2 arms. The Advaitamala mantra also refers him as having 2 hands. In most other places, Datta is described with 1 face and 2 hands. Saint Vasudevananda Saraswati worshipped Ekamukha Dattatreya with Varada and Abhaya hands, seated in Siddhasana. Whatever may be the external appearances of Dattatreya, if one grasps the hidden essence of his tattva, one can attain unimaginable power that descends onto him. This is the only truth. Dattatreya has been described as Smaranamatra Santushtaha, one who is satisfied with a single remembrance and comes running towards us on that. Hence he is known as Smartrugami. Mantras, tantras and severe penances are not necessary to attain his grace. Just a single remembrance is enough. In Sri Dattastavaraja, Lord Shiva told about Dattatreya to Saint Shuka. Datta Datta idam vakyam tarakam sarvadehinam shraddha yukto japen nityam Datta ityaksharadvayam. Reciting of Datta Datta always with diligence accrues supreme benefits and averts all dangers of human beings. He appears in many forms, like a lad, a loving son, a young man, or an old recluse. He wanders like an avadhuta or a nomad, like a madman at times. He would be like a strict mendicant. His hair matted, at times like householder with hair well oiled and combed. He suddenly appears with a glass of wine in one hand, lost in embrace of a beautiful lady, his eyes exuding desire. At other times, he can be found with a silky attire, with a golden glow all around him. At some other times, he would be drinking toddy, naked, his body smeared with ashes. The purpose behind his avatara is not time bound. What is his purpose? In Datta Purana, he describes his teaching thus: Vimukhaya kriya prokta acharaya ishvara pujanam mumukshave kevalam madhupastistu tamottama. Karma yoga is taught for an extrovert, and pure devotion devoid of desires, bhakti yoga, is taught for a settled mind. And for a seeker of salvation, the best of best, taking my refuge, is the only way, which is Jnana Yoga. Every living being is in its way to the only aim of existence, that is, one without second. But no two beings are at the same spot. The pinnacle of the mountain is one, but the ways to reach it are many, depending on one's ability and eligibility. The principle, whether manifest or unmanifest, helping one and all to step ahead towards this supreme goal, is called Guru Tattva, the Guru principle. The word Guru literally means one who dispels the darkness of ignorance. As it is said, the purpose of Dattatreya is not time bound. Until the living beings suffering from mundane life, falling again and again in the circle of births and deaths, exist, the Datta Tattva is bound to exist here. This is not just a eulogy. Datta Tattva, the Datta principle, is the Guru Tattva, the influencing principle that leads to and ultimately delivers salvation. It is not strange that of every available path helping disciple to move forward in his spiritual journey, the source we find is Lord Dattatreya. The Datta Tattva, like a banyan tree, has many religions as its branches, each existing like a different tree. All religions, all paths leading to the one supreme goal stemmed out of this one and only principle. In Jnana Marga, path of knowledge, we find teaching of highest order explaining the state of self-realization like Avadhuta Gita, Jivan Mukta Gita, Tripura Rahasya, and many more, coming from the countenance of Lord Dattatreya. Similar is the case with the ways of devotion, selfless action, eightfold Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga of bodily postures and exercises, etc. Apart from these well-known paths, there are many other paths for spiritual growth that are not so popular and strictly confined to master-disciple tradition like Tantra, etc., adoring their source as Lord Dattatreya. Traditions like Natha, Mahanubhava, Varkari, Samartha, Atita, Ananda, Bhairava, Akhada, and Aghori consider their Moola Purusha, the originating deity, as Lord Dattatreya. There are evidences showing even Sufi tradition having its root as Datta Tattva. This shows that Datta Parampara is